Project Management Professional Training Session 12 Part A. Managing Communication and Stakeholder Engagement. PMP Exam Objectives: What it really means. 3.6 Manage the flow of information. Manage the flow of information by following the communications. Plan in order to keep stakeholders engaged and informed. Study the managed communication process covered in the chapter. 3.7 Maintain stakeholder relationships. Maintain stakeholder relationships by following the stakeholder management plan in order to receive continued support and manage expectations. Study the managed stakeholder engagement process covered in the chapter. Understand that stakeholder management is all about managing the appropriate engagement of stakeholders in the project. It's not about managing or controlling them. As explained in Chapter 8, stakeholder management and communication management are two inherently closely tied project knowledge areas. Without project stakeholders, there is literally no project. Your project is doomed to fail without successful project stakeholder management, i.e., managed stakeholder engagement in the project, which requires successful communication management. With the planning of stakeholder engagement and communication already covered in Chapter 8, we will discuss managing stakeholder engagement and communication in this chapter. The central question in this chapter is, how do you effectively manage stakeholder engagement in the project as well as communication for the success of the project? In search of an answer, we will explore three avenues: manage communication, manage stakeholder engagement, and the relationship between the two. Communication and stakeholder management. Big picture. Big pictures of communication management and stakeholder management were discussed in detail in Chapter 8, where the relationship between them was also explained. Here, we present the direct and indirect relationship between the managed communication and managed stakeholder engagement processes in a larger context, as illustrated in Figure 11.1 with the communication plan, discussed in Chapter 8, in our hands. We are ready to make communication happen. Example: implement the plan by managing and monitoring communications. Manage communication. Throughout the project lifecycle, you need to continually distribute the relevant information to the right stakeholders at the right time by using appropriate methods. A more complete statement would be that you need to make communications happen, where this includes creating, collecting, storing, retrieving, and, at the end, disposing of project information. The process to make it happen is called managed communication, which is run according to the Communication Management Plan and is presented in Table 11.1 in terms of input, tools and techniques, and output. Overall, the managed communication process is run according to the Communication Management Plan. The core task of this process is to distribute the right information to the right stakeholders at the right time. All other activities in this process are dedicated to this core task. You get the information about the stakeholders, such as their identity and communication needs, from the stakeholder register. Find out from the resource management plan what communication is needed for the management of team and physical resources, and also learn communication strategies from the stakeholder engagement plan to keep stakeholders engaged in the project. With this knowledge at hand, distribute the information using communication technology, methods, and skills. Table 11.1. The managed communication process: input, tools and techniques, and output. Input tools and techniques output. 1. Project management plan. Communication. Management plan. Stakeholder engagement. Plan. Resource management. Plan. 2. Project documents. Stakeholder register. Quality report. Risk report. Issues log. Change log. Lessons learned register. 3. Work performance. Reports. 4. Enterprise environmental factors. 5. Organizational project. Assets. 1. Communication. Technology. 2. Communication methods. 3. Communication skills. Feedback. Presentation. Nonverbal. Communication. Competence. 4. Project reporting. 5. Interpersonal and team skills. Conflict management. Meeting management. Networking. Active listening. Cultural and political awareness. 6. Information management. Systems. 7. Meetings. 1. Project communications. 2. Project management. Updates. Communication. Management plan. Stakeholder engagement. Plan. 3. Project document updates. Stakeholder register. Project schedule. Risk register. Issues log. Lessons learned register. 4. Organizational project. Assets update. What information to distribute and in what form? Not all stakeholders need the same kind of information. That said, in this section, we will discuss, in general, what kinds of information is distributed, where it is obtained from, and in what form it is distributed. Information sources are the input documents discussed in the following paragraphs. Quality and risk reports. Quality-related information, such as quality issues and improvements made in project, processes, and product, is collected from the quality report, an output of the managed quality process. Risk-related information, such as project level and individual risks and their summary, can be fetched from the risk report, an output of the identify risk process. Work performance reports. These reports are outputs of the monitor and control project work process and will be discussed in Chapter 12. Status reports and progress reports are two common examples of work performance reports. You take needed information and distribute it among relevant stakeholders, an act that is called in PMBOK project reporting. Performance reporting. Performance reporting refers to collecting and distributing work performance information, which includes standard reports generated by processes as just discussed, such as work performance reports from the monitor and control project work process, as well as ad hoc reports and presentations prepared during this process. The information could be in various formats, from informal chat to formal report, various levels of detail, at different project levels, and with different frequency, from periodically to on exceptional basis. These variations arise from the different information needs of different stakeholders. For example, on a periodic basis, an analysis of the baseline compared with actual work data yields performance data and forecasts the project results, which can then be communicated in appropriate detail to meet the needs of a group of stakeholders. As mentioned earlier, presentation is one form of performance reporting. Presentation, listed in Table 11.1, presentation is, according to PMBOK, a communication skill. Certainly, you need good communication skills to prepare and deliver a presentation. Based on stakeholders' needs, it could be about a wide variety of topics, such as progress reports, information updates, and any project documents. To make an effective presentation, you should consider the audience and their needs and use audio/visual and other appropriate tools, such as tables, graphs, and histograms. Essential elements such as background information and conclusions should be included. It's important to watch your nonverbal communication, such as body language during presentations. In addition to the two tools, performance reporting and presentation, just discussed, you will need more tools to manage communication, such as communication technology and methods, and communication skills. Communication Technology and Information Management Systems, PMIS. Communication technology is discussed in the Planning Communication section in Chapter 8, and PMIS is covered in multiple chapters. Recall that an information management system refers to a set of standard tools that a project manager can use to capture, store, and distribute information to stakeholders about the various aspects of the project, such as project costs, project schedule, schedule progress, and performance. Depending upon the stakeholders' needs and the kind of project information to be distributed, a variety of information management tools can be used. Hard copy document management, reports, letters, and memos, electronic and web communications management, press releases, email, fax, voicemail, telephone, video and web conferencing, websites, and web publishing. Web project management tools, including social media, web interfaces to scheduling and project management software, meeting and virtual office support software, portals, blog, collaborative work management tools. Examples of distribution formats supported by information management systems may include tables, spreadsheet analysis, and presentations. You can use the capabilities and features of the applications, such as graphics, to make the information easy to understand and hence enhance its impact. Communication skills. You will need a wide variety of communication skills to manage communication. Out of those listed in Table 11.1, we have already discussed presentations, and feedback was discussed in Chapters 8 and 10, and is offered in response to any communication, deliverable, or situation in the context of project communication. Feedback is any two-way communication. The nonverbal technique refers to communicating through nonverbal means, such as body language, eye contact, facial expression, and tone of voice. While communicating, you should always be mindful about the nonverbal component of communication. Communication competence refers to the overall ability to communicate, including components such as clearly delivering the key message, having awareness of purpose, creating a relationship with receivers, and exhibiting leadership. Note: communication skills, an essential part of general management skills, are used to ensure the following. The right stakeholders get the right information at the right time. The communication requirements and expectations of stakeholders are properly managed. Interpersonal and team skills. Out of the interpersonal and team skills listed in Table 11.1, cultural and political awareness are discussed in the Planning Communication section in Chapter 8, and conflict management was covered in Chapter 10. Active listening refers to paying attention to the speaker, acknowledging, asking for clarification in order and understand, and removing any hindrance in understanding communications. Networking, according to the dictionary definition, is interaction with other people to exchange information and develop contacts. You can network with stakeholders at project and departmental parties and other social gatherings and settings. In this information age, you network using online tools and appropriate websites. Overall, it will help in achieving better project communication with results, and in obtaining project support. Meeting management techniques. Meeting management refers to organizing and conducting meetings. For effective and efficient meeting management to achieve the meeting objectives, you can take the following steps. Send a timely invitation to all relevant and only relevant stakeholders, and encourage them to attend. Prepare meeting agenda and make it available in advance, if possible. Send it with invitation and also distribute it at the beginning of the meeting. Use your communication skills, including conflict resolution skills, to conduct meeting. Start meeting on time, stay on agenda topics, and end it on time. During the meeting, invite appropriate participation. Manage expectations during the meeting. Take minutes, including actions items and who attended. Follow up on action items after the meeting. Given the same situation and communication technology and methods, one project manager may fail while the other may succeed. Why? The answer lies in the concept of effective communication. Tools for effective communication management. Managing communication effectively is more than choosing the right format, technology, and method. In short, it takes integrating many factors together. For example, using your communication skills to integrate appropriate technology, method, form, and content together to create a creative communication environment. This way, project communication goes beyond just the distribution of relevant information. For example, you have to ensure that the right information is appropriately generated in the right form at the right time, received by right stakeholders, and understood. Moreover, you also need to provide opportunities for stakeholders to make requests for further information, clarification, and discussion. In the following, we discuss some techniques and overall basic communication concepts that, if applied properly, can help facilitate effective communication management. Techniques for effective communication. Most of these techniques have already been discussed, in detail, in Chapter 8. Here, they are presented briefly in light of effective communication. Sender-receiver models. To facilitate multi-channel communication, feedback loops should be incorporated to provide interaction, encourage participation, and remove barriers to communication. As discussed in Chapter 8, the communication line has two ends. Both the sender and the receiver need to have communication skills in this environment. The sender has the following responsibilities. Ensure that the information is clear and complete. Confirm that the information is received and properly understood. The receiver has the following responsibilities. Ensure that the information is received in its entirety. Ensure that the information is correctly understood, so, the success of information distribution depends on both the sender and the receiver. That said, at the end of the day, it's the project manager's responsibility to make sure information is communicated successfully. The communication has two flavors in each of the following dimensions. Making media choice. Depending on the situation, you decide whether to communicate in writing or orally, write an informal memo or a formal report, and face-to-face conversation or email. Whatever media you use, you will use communication skills to deliver the information. Writing style. Appropriate writing is an essential part of good communication skills. It is important to know how to use the active or passive voice, and how to use appropriate sentence structure and word choice in a given situation. Meeting management techniques. You prepare a meeting agenda and make it available in advance, and use your communication skills, including conflict resolution skills, to conduct the meeting to stay on agenda and end on time. Presentation techniques. Prepare and deliver a presentation centered around the main message, using visual aids for greater impact, while being aware of the impact of body language as well. Facilitation techniques. Use your communication skills to actively clarify, acknowledge, confirm understanding, remove barriers by overcoming obstacles, resolve conflict, and build consensus on the common goal of process success. Listening techniques. Listen actively to comprehend adequately and respond effectively. Also, an awareness of basic communication concepts will help with effective communication. Mechanisms of communication and dimensions of communication activities. Having awareness of the mechanisms of communication and the dimensions of communication activities will help with effective communication because awareness leads to making the right choices. The basic issue here is to exchange information, which can be done in many forms, such as expressing emotions, sharing an idea, and giving instructions. However, you will need mechanisms for this exchange, such as the following. Nonverbal or through gestures, example, body language, facial expressions, and tone of voice. Spoken word, example, face-to-face, on phone and through CD. Written word, example, on paper and on electronic media, such as on a website. Through media, example, still and moving pictures, actions, choices of spoken words and the way they are spoken. Think of communication happening in a movie. Choice of words, example, choosing words and phrases carefully to fine-tune the message, blunt or between the lines. You should also be aware and make appropriate use of the two-dimensional nature of some communication methods, features, or categories. Place, external or internal. Internal to the project, that is, within the project, or external, that is, communicating to entities external to the project, such as customers, media, and the public. Format, formal or informal. Formal, such as reports and briefings, or informal, such as emails, memos, and ad hoc conversation. Hierarchy, vertical or horizontal. Horizontal means communication among peers, example, other project managers, while vertical means communication between different levels of the organizational hierarchy, for example, upward to senior managers or downward to team members and other stakeholders working for the project. Official or unofficial, examples, official newsletters and annual reports, unofficial off-the-record conversation. Written or unwritten, examples, written email, unwritten oral and verbal talk, and nonverbal body language. You use these tools and techniques to generate the output of the managed communication process. Tip: effective communication management builds bridges between diverse stakeholders with different cultures, backgrounds, disciplines of knowledge, interests, and opinions. Output of managed communication. Project communications. The main output of the managed communication process is project communications, which are artifacts of project communication, such as performance reports, presentations, emails, memos, deliverable status, incurred cost and earned value graphs, and schedule progress. Organizational process assets update. The managed communication process will create some items that can be added as a record to the organizational process assets. Here are some examples. Project reports, including status reports. Stakeholder notifications about resolved issues and approved changes. Project presentations. Project records, such as memos and meeting minutes, and project files, such as plans and schedules. Feedback from stakeholders. Lessons learned. Project document update. As a result of this process, some project documents may be updated. See Study Checkpoint 11.1. Study Checkpoint 11.1. Q1. Knowing the managed communication process, how do you think documents listed for update in Table 11.1 would be updated? Q2. Why do you need the project stakeholder engagement plan for performing the managed communication process? Caution. Distinguish between communication, the singular, and communications, the plural. Communication refers to the act of communicating, such as conducting a meeting or sending an email, while communications refers to the artifacts of communication, such as meeting minutes, memos, emails, and progress reports. How will we know how we are doing in the communication aspect of the project? Well, we need to monitor communication, which we will discuss in Chapter 14. The Stakeholder Engagement Plan, discussed in Chapter 8, contains strategies to implement and actions to perform to facilitate creative stakeholders' involvement in the project, such as making project decisions and project execution. The Stakeholder Management Plan is implemented in the process of managing stakeholder engagement.